Joe wrote, "I'm the guy in the tan hat. I was just chatting it up with him, waiting for food, 'cause it takes a while." And he said he was their friend, making sure they got home safe. He seemed nice and was funny, and I had no idea he was lurking. So by now, many of us have seen the infamous food truck video out of Moscow, Idaho, where 2 of the 4 victims in the University of Idaho tragedy were caught on camera in a live stream on Twitch from the Grub Truckers food truck. It was Maddie and Kaylee, and they were getting their food between 1:43 a.m. and 1:53 a.m. And many people have wondered about one guy who was kind of hanging back in a white hoodie and kind of waiting on them and left when the girls left. So now we're getting more insight into that guy from a different guy who spoke with him. I realized that here on my Plunder True Crime TikTok account, a guy named Joe has actually been commenting. And I clicked over and I see he's from Moscow, Idaho, listed as a musician, believer. He says, "I'm not famous, but people are wanting to hear what he has to say." This is the video here. You know, I have a series of those food truck videos. This one here I noticed he's been commenting on. So I wanted to go through those comments with you together to see what insight Joe has about Hoodie Guy. I have an update from the City of Moscow Police Department about Hoodie Guy, the grub trucker guy, and they don't believe he is involved. In this new update from November 18th at 4:40 p.m., police mentioned Kaylee and Madison were seen on video at the local food vendor called the Grub Truckers, and they used an Uber from downtown to arrive at their residence on 11 King Road about 1:45 a.m. Cops are noting that at this time in their investigation, detectives do not believe the 2 surviving roommates or the male in the grub truck surveillance video are involved in this crime. And they went on to dispel rumors that the victims were tied up or gagged or anything. They say it's not accurate. They still have not released the identity of the 911 caller. One commenter asked, "I want to know what he was saying to the bigger guy when he was pointing at them." So Joe, he wrote, "I pointed to the girls. He told me he was making sure they got home safe, and I was like, well, they're leaving." People are saying, "Oh my goodness, is that you in the video? Do you know who he is? Did you know the guy or the 4 people that lost their lives? Guessing you've talked to the cops already," and he will affirm. Joe said, "Didn't know them at all. Just happened to be in line together. And yeah, I talked to the cops. I had to physically go in because they didn't call me back." Now that part made me really think, oh my goodness. And just like I thought, it seems like he was being a nice, good guy. He might have just noticed the guy, white hoodie guy, just standing off by himself. The girls didn't seem like they wanted to interact with white hoodie guy. They wanted to get their food, it seemed like, and get out of there. But the white hoodie guy seems like he was setting himself up as their protector or something. Joe is going to say the white hoodie guy is telling him, "I'm making sure the girls get home safely." So Joe just says, "Yup, I don't even know his name." Joe doesn't know the name of the white hoodie guy. But Joe did say, "A bunch of people asked me, and truthfully, no. He was just covered up pretty good, and I was more just casually talking, waiting for food. Didn't look for detail." So there's a bunch of questions being fired at him. Tiggy asked Joe, "Have you looked at Maddie's Insta? Do you think he looks like the boyfriend in her pictures?" You can tell the hoodie guy, he not only has on his, hoodie, he has on a hat and maybe even a brown jacket and I don't know what else. So it's kind of hard to see his face. Other people are wondering, did the girls acknowledge his presence? People are thanking him for replying. They find it crazy that the hoodie guy was making sure the girls got home safe. That's when he's doing that bowing to the guy in the tank top. He was kind of like, "Whoa, I bow down to you for being in a tank top. It's so cold out here." But however, we don't know who this man is, may I first say. And even though some folks have, already had him tried and convicted, law enforcement, they haven't given us much information. I do believe law enforcement, they've spoken to, we know According to Joe, who we see commenting here, Joe has spoken to law enforcement. I don't know Hoodie Guy's name. I don't know if he's spoken to law enforcement. Adrian asked, what did he say when they took off? Did he seem to be a college student? Joe said, he definitely seemed like a student. A couple of my friends told me he apparently lived next to the girls. Now that part was pretty stunning. So maybe that's why Hoodie Guy was trying to make sure the girls got home safely, because he knew he lived next door. If that part is accurate, that's what Joe's being told. A lot of people are saying, well, I hate that people refer to you as the bigger guy, but you were the bigger person by taking action and talking to the cops. That part I can't believe. I'm grateful that Joe took it upon himself to go talk to the cops. I mean, the cops might be overwhelmed in Moscow. The FBI has stepped in too. Hopefully they have a lot of help. So Joe did the right thing. He called the cops and said, look, I'm the guy in this famous video here. You know, he would be an important person to talk to, an important witness to just being near the girls and near this Hoodie Guy just an hour or so before the crimes. You would think the cops would want to call him back immediately and get him in there, but he's saying he had to physically walk in there and say, hey, here I am. You guys might want to talk to me. And that part makes me a little scary for the investigation, but I hope it's progressing. So people are just commenting different things. Hopefully they're able to identify him for questioning. It's kind of hard to know. I've read so much about this case, and I plan to make a different video about the house where the tragedy happened, but trying to get official words from the cops after that press conference and in reading all these different interviews, it sounds to me as if one of the girls' boyfriends has been identified and cleared as a suspect, if I understand correctly. But as for now, as I always say, everyone is innocent until proven guilty, so no one in this video, no one should be harassed. You're about to go viral, my guy, LOL, someone said. So Joe is answering, apparently I literally have. I believe that is in reference to, you're about to go viral, my guy. And, you know, people are saying, they're giving him compliments. Good on you for answering people the best you can. Can't imagine how sick you felt knowing you were so close to them. I believe they mean physically close, of course. Leave him alone, some people are saying. I think the police and everything is good enough. Some people were telling Joe, you should go live and just explain it all. Someone had written to Joe, you should make a video explaining in detail everything that you remember. That would be Joe's choice if he chooses to. But he asked, for what purpose? The police already know everything. They are doing the best they can. So I thought that was really good. Joe says, I mean, that's possible. Only issue is he was, number one, their neighbor, and number two, having issues already with them, apparently, from what I heard. That part was really shocking to me, too. Wow, scary local talk, apparently, that some neighbor was having issues. What kind of issues? With Kaylee and Maddie. Did it come to a head this night? They're saying, this is why we don't speculate on zero evidence, babes. He literally replied in the comments. So some people are trying to conflate Joe with the Hoodie Guy. And if they haven't watched the entire video closely, some people are assuming, oh, Joe and Hoodie Guy were together. And they weren't. If you watch it, and I've watched about nearly 2 hours of this 4.5-hour stream, I'll probably end up watching the whole thing. You don't see Joe and the Hoodie Guy arriving together like besties and talking. You see the Hoodie Guy arriving in a group, it appears, with Maddie and Kaylee, and hanging back while the girls are ordering their food and just maybe almost trying to shake him, almost try to ignore him. So that's why I thought Joe was a good guy, because he probably noticed this Hoodie Guy just standing off, like not eating, not talking much. So it's almost something I would do. You pick out the person who's kind of alone in the crowd or maybe looking a little lonely and awkward, and you can stand there and talk to them. Just kind of keep them company. I mean, Joe was obviously waiting for his food too. People were happy. A cold night, you know, a lot of college students, Saturday night, having fun. It's the wind down. The evening is over, basically. Everyone's trying to grab their food and go home, and he just Seems like he's being a friendly guy, but I'm glad Joe talked to him. People are saying, look, he confirmed in this chat that he was just another random student and neighbor to the girls. People do say, yeah, he was definitely pointing at the girls. Some people think, oh, Joe was pointing because his food was ready. They're saying, no, he was pointing at the girls. It could be the other guy points to them as well in a disappointing way because they left. And I did get that vibe. After the girls get their food or taking videos or whatever and they run off that way, Hoodie Guy, when he finds out from Joe that they left, Hoodie Guy is kind of like, ugh, what the heck? Why are they leaving me? Maybe a bit much. They were glued to their phones. At least one of them was glued to their phones because maybe they wanted to literally avoid Hoodie Guy. And we don't know. Hoodie Guy may have nothing to do with anything, but at least we're getting a little more information about his conversation that night with Joe. People are debating or not whether it's her boyfriend, but I don't think it is. People are cursing each other out. Her boyfriend was 5 hours away. Stay mad, another person's saying. There's 1,400 comments and counting. That's why it's kind of a lot to go through. Looks like the girl's ex. We don't know. We don't know who he is at this point. We have no clue. Whoever this Hoodie Guy is, he is innocent until proven guilty, if at all, in a court of law. So Joe just wants people to know I already gave my report to the police. I didn't know this Hoodie Guy. I was just chatting him up because we were waiting for food. Joe also said, if I remember correctly, I think they asked what we had ordered or something like that. So it sounds like it was just small talk. Maybe the girls had asked Joe, hey, what'd you guys order? Joe wrote, I've had a hard time coping with all this. They were right in front of me. It's all just surreal. That's why I pray for Joe, especially, and anyone. The girls, the roommates who survived, I hear, they are traumatized. I'm sure people, they might feel so much terror over this and just confusion. I pray Joe doesn't feel any guilt. There's no way he could have known these girls in front of him would brutally lose their lives. A lot of us might want to play the what if game. What if only I had, grabbed the girls and saved them? Or there are things you just don't know. There is the presence of evil. Thank God for protecting us from evil. I just pray that the perpetrator or perpetrators can be found. The cops have been pretty tight-lipped. We don't know if they truly have honed in on a suspect and aren't really telling us. Like someone said, he's already identified and cooperated with the police, and that's what I heard too earlier, I believe on CNN. So the focus could be on the wrong person here just because it was a guy in the food truck video that seemed a little miffed if the girls just walked away without him. But that doesn't mean he committed any crimes. But it's good at this point. We're just collecting as much information as possible. I'm glad Joe spoke with the police. That kind of reminds me of what I saw on court TV. Maybe the person they're looking for might be a kind of militant protector type guy, We already know the type of sharp-edged weapon that police are looking for, and it looks terrifying. And police have not released any names as of right now, Friday, November 18th. As far as I know, police have not released any names of any suspects. Food truck guy is super friendly. I mean, he really is excellent at customer service, and he's given an interview too. The food truck manager did state that he said welcome back to the girls because he mistook them for other girls who were there earlier that day. So it's not necessarily like Maddie and Kaylee were there at the food truck earlier. I hope I was able to find all of Joe's comments because they give us good insight into what the conversation was. What did Hoodie Guy talk about? Why was he standing back like he was? So many comments. But hopefully I got all of Joe's. If I find any more, I will add them or make a separate video or what have you. It's 1,400 comments and counting. John 17:17, sanctify them by the truth. Your word is truth. Whew. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned. I'm really researching this case, and I'm really praying the perpetrator or perpetrators are caught soon in Jesus' name. It's such a tragedy. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for more.